Boxing, a sport celebrated for its combination of strategy, raw power, and resilience, has faced numerous challenges over the years. Among these, one of the most persistent and damaging issues is the use of steroids and performance-enhancing drugs, PEDs. These substances have not only tainted the integrity of the sport, but have also put the lives and careers of fighters at risk. To fully understand this issue, we need to examine how steroids became so widespread in boxing, the devastating effects they've had, and the steps needed to tackle this growing menace. Steroids were first introduced into the sports world in the mid-20th century, particularly in bodybuilding, weightlifting, and track and field. These substances promised athletes increased muscle mass, enhanced endurance, and quicker recovery times. By the 1970s and 1980s, whispers of steroid use began to emerge in boxing, where fighters sought similar advantages to gain an edge over their opponents. At that time, boxing lacked a centralized governing body or standardized testing procedures. This allowed steroid use to grow unchecked, especially in high-stakes fights where victory could mean millions of dollars. Notable cases like James Toney, who tested positive for banned substances after his bout with John Ruiz, and Gerald Miller, who failed multiple drug tests ahead of his fight with Anthony Joshua, highlight how deeply ingrained PEDs have become in boxing's history. The stakes in boxing are extraordinarily high. A single win or loss can change the trajectory of a fighter's career, impacting their income, reputation, and future opportunities. This immense pressure drives some athletes to seek shortcuts, and steroids promise exactly that. These substances allow fighters to recover faster from grueling training sessions, build explosive power, and maintain high levels of stamina during matches. However, the problem is not just individual choices, it is systemic. The lack of a unified governing body in boxing means testing protocols vary across different organizations and promotions. Promoters, often driven by profits, sometimes turn a blind eye to doping allegations, especially when star fighters are involved. Trainers and medical professionals may also contribute by providing access to these substances or covering up their use. Additionally, the competitive nature of the sport fosters an environment where fighters feel compelled to level the playing field if they suspect their opponents are using steroids. This creates a vicious cycle where clean athletes are at a disadvantage, further pushing PED use into the mainstream. Steroids have far-reaching consequences that extend beyond the athletes who use them. Fighter safety. Steroids enhance physical strength and aggression, making punches more devastating and increasing the likelihood of severe injuries for opponents. Cases of fighters suffering permanent damage or even fatalities in the ring have raised questions about the role PEDs may have played. Loss of integrity. Boxing has always prided itself on being a test of skill and heart. Steroid use undermines this ethos, reducing the sport to a contest of pharmaceutical advantage. Fans feel betrayed, and clean athletes are robbed of opportunities and recognition. Health risks for users. Fighters who use steroids face long-term health issues, including heart problems, liver damage, hormonal imbalances, and psychological effects such as aggression and depression. These risks often go unnoticed until years after their careers are over. Over the past 2 decades, boxing has taken steps to address the steroid problem. Organizations like the Voluntary Anti-Doping Association, VADA, and the United States Anti-Doping Agency, USADA, have introduced more rigorous testing protocols, especially for high-profile bouts. Fighters are now subject to random testing during training camps and before fights, with some even agreeing to additional voluntary testing. However, challenges remain. Advanced masking agents and designer steroids often escape detection. Some fighters strategically avoid testing during off-seasons, while others exploit loopholes in testing schedules. High-profile cases where fighters were allowed to compete despite positive tests have also eroded trust in the system. To truly solve the steroid issue in boxing, comprehensive changes are needed. Unified global standards. All boxing organizations must adopt the same stringent anti-doping protocols. This would eliminate inconsistencies and ensure a level playing field for all fighters. Harsher penalties. Current punishments, such as short suspensions or fines, are insufficient deterrents. Multi-year bans or even lifetime disqualifications for repeat offenders would send a strong message. Increased transparency. Anti-doping results should be made public to ensure accountability. Fans and fighters alike deserve to know that the sport is being policed fairly. Education programs. Young fighters must be educated on the risks of PEDs and shown natural ways to enhance performance, such as proper nutrition, advanced training techniques, and recovery methods. Investing in technology. The use of biological passports, which track an athlete's biomarkers over time, can detect inconsistencies that indicate PED use. Additionally, advancements in AI could revolutionize testing by identifying patterns that traditional methods might miss. Boxing is at a critical juncture. The sport must decide whether to continue allowing PEDs to tarnish its reputation or to take bold steps to preserve its legacy. Steroids not only jeopardize the health and safety of fighters, but also erode the trust of fans and undermine the very principles that make boxing great. The fight against steroids is not just about punishing offenders, it's about protecting the sport's integrity for future generations. True champions are made through discipline, dedication, and hard work, not shortcuts. It's time for fans, fighters, and stakeholders to come together, demand change, and support clean athletes. Only then can boxing reclaim its status as the ultimate test of skill, heart, and endurance. By addressing these issues head-on, boxing can restore its credibility and ensure that the glory of the ring remains untarnished for years to come.